Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. We are reading from the book Pramana Vicara. The subtitle is An Enquiry into the Nature of Knowledge by Swami Dayananda Saraswati. It is based on a series of lectures by Pujya Swamiji given at Anaikatti in 2010. Preface. The hallmark of Pujya Swamiji's teaching is presenting Vedanta as a means of knowledge which knocks off the idea that one has to experience what one has heard in Shravanam. This experience orientation is deep rooted in the spiritual world. Pujya Swamiji made it clear. Vedanta Shravanam gives rise to aparoksha jnanam, as it is a means of knowledge like the eyes. Pujya Swamiji has often mentioned that he got this clarity at the feet of Pujya Shri Pranavananda Swamiji after struggling for a number of years. This long-awaited book on Pramana Vicara is a great boon for the students of Vedanta. Sri Swami Ganesha Swarupananda and Sri Swamini Agamananda have put forth a lot of effort in shaping the book. Sri Swamini Brahmalinanandaji compiled it for us. AVR and PT, under the guidance of Srimati Sheila Balaji, has done a wonderful job as usual in bringing out this book in a beautiful form. I am happy that it is being released on the 9th anniversary of Pujya Swamiji's Maha Samadhi. Swami Sakshat Kritanandaji, Chief Acharya, Swami Dayananda Ashram, Rishikesh. The book was published in 2024. Section 1. Pramanam. Pramana Vicara, analysis of the means of knowledge. Pramana Vicara is an analysis of the means of knowledge. Prama means knowledge. Ma is knowledge. Ma also means mother. When we add the suffix pra, then the meaning is definitely knowledge. Manam is a means of knowledge. However, manam is also used for a measure. Therefore, when you add pra, it certainly implies a means of knowledge. Pramanam is a karanam. Kriyate anena iti karanam. That by which something is accomplished is karanam. It becomes a sadhanam, a means with respect to what is to be accomplished, generally expressed in tritiya vibhakti, the third case in grammar. In Sanskrit, the first three cases are karta, karma and karanam. Kayena vacha manasa bhajati. Kayena by puja, vacha by recitation, chanting, singing, and manasa by meditation is how one offers prayers. All these words in tritiya, the third case, instrumental case, express karanam, means. You require karanam, a means for gaining any knowledge. For seeing an object in the world, eyes are the pramanam, means of knowledge. I have a flower in my hand. Tell me, how do you know I have this flower in my hand? How do you arrive at this knowledge? Because you see it. That is pramanam. There is a certain alignment between the eyes and the flower, giving rise to prama, knowledge. My hand is not the pramanam. The flower is not the pramanam. And you are not the pramanam. Your eyes are the pramanam. Eyes alone are not enough. Of course, you have to be there. Otherwise, there will be a blank look. So, pramanam means eyes, mind, you, your whole person, everything except your will. Your will is left on the wayside. You give leave to your will when the pramanam is in operation. Next section, pramanam, means of knowing. A human being is endowed with a buddhi, the faculty of knowing. Knowledge takes place only in this faculty. Buddhi is a karanam. Like every other karanam, it undergoes change each time knowledge takes place. It is called antakaranam. Anta is within, karanam a means, instrument. Antakaranam therefore is an inner instrument and is a means of knowing. The adjective anta, within, is required because there are external means also. In fact, even though the buddhi is the place where knowledge takes place by a vritti, this relevant change is brought about by external means for knowing, bahya karanani, which is a group of senses you have. There is a footnote for the word vritti. Vritti, a modification of the buddhi, a relevant modification, change. I will read the sentence again. In fact, even though the buddhi is the place where knowledge takes place by a vritti, this relevant change is brought about by external means for knowing, bahya karanani, which is a group of senses you have. They are called indriyani, pancha jnanendriyani, the five senses employed in knowing. These pancha jnanendriyani, five senses are shrotra, the sense of hearing, sparsha, the sense of touch, chakshuhu, the sense of sight, rasana, the sense of taste, and ghrana, the sense of smell. Each one of these operates within its own sphere. They do not cross borders. Eyes detect and report only form and color. Eyes do not pick up smell. Eyes pick up only sounds, but within certain decibels. Each one of these sense organs can objectify. Quote-unquote objectification is a common word for all the sense organs. Each objectifies a particular quality, form, or color, or sound, etc. Whatever we objectify by using a sense organ is an object. This objectification within a certain range by a given sense organ, backed by the mind, is knowledge. Again, this objectification within a certain range by a given sense organ, backed by the mind, is knowledge. In this context, mind includes everything. Mana, buddhi, ahankara, chitta, everything except the will. There's a footnote here. Even though quote-unquote will is a function of the buddhi, it is not involved in knowledge, as we shall see later. Pratyaksha pramanam, direct knowledge. Knowledge born of a sense organ objectifying an external object is called pratyaksha jnanam. Aksha is a sense organ and prati is proximate. Pratyaksha jnanam is direct knowledge. This implies that there is also indirect knowledge. We will look into it later. That I am sitting here is pratyaksha jnanam, direct knowledge for you. Pratyaksha jnanam is defined very tightly as indriya artha sannikarsha janyam jnanam. Again, pratyaksha jnanam is defined very tightly as indriya artha sannikarsha janyam jnanam. Sannikarsha means in proximity, within the range of operation, within the sense organ sphere of operation. Knowledge born of a sense organ in contact with the sense object is called pratyaksha. The knowledge jnanam born of the contact sannikarsha between the indriya and the artha, that is the sense organ and the sense object, is called pratyaksha jnanam. Again, the knowledge jnanam born of the contact sannikarsha between the Indriya and the Artha, that is the sense organ and the sense object, is called Pratyaksha Jnanam. This is true not only with reference to sight, it is true with respect to all other senses as well, senses of hearing, touch, etc. If you are away from the source of sound, you do not hear anything. If you are away from the fireside, you do not feel any heat. As you get closer to it, the warmth increases. Knowledge takes place within a certain range only. So the Sannikarshatvam, approximate proximity, is very important. If the mind is not there, perception does not take place. Therefore, both Bahya Karanam and Antakaranam are included in Indriya. There is often a discussion about whether mind is also an Indriya. It is better to call it just a Karanam. An Indriya is a Karanam, but a Karanam need not be an Indriya. Whether the mind is called a Karanam or an Indriya, the mind has to be there, be available behind the sense organ. While action is will-based, in knowledge, the human will has no role to play. That is what distinguishes knowledge from action. Next section, Upakaranani. You can hone the Pramanam. In fact, in modern society, with all the instrumentation that is available, we have really honed our Pramanams. For example, the hand looks very clean to the naked eyes. Then you bring a microscope to magnify all that is there in the hand and see a huge society of microorganisms. We have enhanced the power of sight through instrumentation. This is also Pratyaksha. There is no direct connection between the Indriya, the eye, and Artha, the object. Even so, Sannikarshatvam is there. Close contact does not necessarily mean that there need be physical contact with the eyes, or that the object is even within the range of normal sight. An object's visibility itself is increased with a microscope or a telescope. Using these enhancing instruments, you can see objects that you had never seen before. It is not true that the hand is clean. What then is true? The enhanced power of sight brings to light, makes you know the existence of millions of microorganisms. Thank God you do not see them all. Else, you cannot shake hands with people, you cannot touch your face at all because you know of the presence of these organisms. Sometimes, not seeing is indeed good. Similarly, sound can also be magnified with instrumentation. Perhaps the other three sense organs can also be made more capable. At present, we do not have devices readily available in the market for all of them. Otherwise, you can add taste buds to your tongue and give it some magnification. When we eat something sweet, it can be made to feel sweeter. Bitter could mean bitter with a capital B. Thank God these are not there as yet. These enhancing instruments are called Upakaranani. Karanani, the organs, and Upakaranani, instruments that enhance their capability. They help extend the power and range of the Karanas. The reading glass is also called Upanetra. They have been in existence for a long time. Therefore, they have names in Sanskrit language. Jnanam Pramana Tantram. Knowledge depends on the means. When I pick up this red rose, you will say that it is a flower. However, what I have in my hand need not be a flower every time. Now I pick up another object. You cannot say it is a flower. You see what that object is. It is not a flower. You obviously do not see what is absent. Any object that does not exist in my hand is not going to reflect light. Therefore, the eyes have no object to see. This is an important point. You need a location for the object or for absence of the object. It also has to be defined in terms of time. If I had a flower in my hand the other day, it may not be there now. All right, I have a red rose in my hand. But if I say, see this lotus in my hand, what would you say? Hey, Swamiji, you're wrong. It is a red rose. Either Swami does not know lotus or Swami knows lotus and takes this flower to be one. But you do not agree with that, correct? You may be a Shraddhavan, Shraddhalu, you have a lot of Shraddha. You want the Swami to be right. Still you cannot accept it because you have Indriya Artha Sannikarsha Jnanam, Pratyaksha Jnanam, which tells otherwise. Therefore, however much you may want Swami to be right, the truth is that Swami is wrong. What makes the statement wrong is your pramanam. The pramanam, your eye, belies the statement that it is a lotus. The validity of knowledge is the validity of pramanam. Next section. Jnanam is Vastu Tantram. Vastu Tantram. Knowledge is as true as the object. Thus, the knowledge you have because of the sense organs, Sannikarshatvam, direct contact with the sense object, either with instrument or without instrument, is called Pratyaksha Jnanam. That Jnanam is final, it is credible, it is valid. If anybody were to say that this is a lotus flower or a jackfruit or a mango for a change, well, it is wrong. It is erroneous perception. You can understand that there is no room for options. If knowledge is credible, it is because it has no room for accommodation. If someone is wrong, you can accommodate the person in your life because that person is your son-in-law. You can agree with him and say that this is a lotus. Then go to your prayer room and pray for his better perception. You can accommodate him for your daughter's sake, but then he is wrong. You cannot accept his statement. A wrong statement is a wrong statement. Whoever makes a statement, he is wrong. The person does not come into the picture. Knowledge has no emotional involvement. It is reality-based. It's a reality, fact. Jnanam does not give you any option at all. You cannot just will it or wish it. This is a very important point in understanding what knowledge is. Jnanam is Vastu Tantram. Jnanam is Pramana Tantram. Both are very credible statements. Knowledge is Vastu Tantram, as true as the object of knowledge. Knowledge is Pramana Tantram, as true as the means of knowledge reveal. Now suppose you know a little more about this flower. You are a botanist. Therefore you have some more knowledge about this flower. You can talk about the flower using its Latin name. This Latin name will always bring in another Latin name. That Latin word is the genus, the group that this flower belongs to. These two words will always be there. It is like people having two names, a given name and a surname. The botanist will give this flower also a second name. However, that does not make any difference in your perception. It is a flower, it is a rose, and it is red. What choice do you have in seeing it as it is? Even if you add more knowledge, it does not alter the original perception. You can examine it genetically and say so many things, but still the original statement remains valid. It cannot be altered. It is credible. You can even go down to the level of particles and say it is a bunch of particles. True, it's a bunch of particles constituting what we call flower. So more knowledge does not really alter the original perception that it is a flower. And that is valid knowledge. Here in this perception, your will is not involved. You cannot wish it away, will it away. Your will remains suspended in knowledge. So too, when your nose reveals a bad smell or your tongue reveals a bitter taste. However much you wish it was not there or it was otherwise, you cannot change it. The knower claims this is a flower. To whom does this jnana phalam, the result of knowing, belong? To the knower, you. You own it up, this is your knowledge and you are the knower. Even though you are the knower, claiming the jnana phalam, the knowledge is not subject to your will. It is subject to pramanam, in this case your eyes. If you see other than what is that pramanam, your eye is to be corrected. Pramana tantram jnanam. Again, your eyes will reveal only a red rose because what is in my hand is only a red rose. Vastu tantram jnanam, the knowledge will always be in keeping with what the vastu object is. One person was traveling with me and took a lot of pictures. Wherever I went, he kept on clicking his camera, took many pictures. At the end, I asked him for some of those pictures. He said, Swamiji, they did not come out very well. My eyesight is not good. Therefore, the camera did not do the job well. If the eyes do not see certain things, you had better correct the eyes. Therefore, only when the pramanam is valid is there jnanam. Jnanam is vastu tantram. Knowledge is as good as the object of knowledge. It is also pramana tantram. You ensure that there is no pramana dosha, no deficiency in pramanam. You do not see certain faraway things with naked eyes. With a telescope, you can see a lot more, like Jupiter has a moon and Mars has a moon going around the planet. Using a telescope, you see things that were not at all visible earlier. It is amazing how much the power of eyesight can be improved. Thus, the pramana dosha in the eyes, the inability to see, can be removed by using spectacles or telescope, microscope as the context warrants. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.